Hi, everybody. It's Kathleen here. And just want to thank you all for listening to the DEARG podcast over the last few months. It has been a fantastic start. Only started in September. And so far, like, we're up at 1,000 plays and, starting to really gain followers all over the world, which is amazing. And what is really fantastic about it is it's people who have maybe not come across my work before. And, so it shows that all the likes and shares and comments and all that are really helping. And it's very important. So just want to say thank you for that. So people have asked why DEARG. In Irish, the Irish word for red is DEARG, and red symbolises so much. So for some people, it's the physical reality of living with endometriosis and adenomyosis, be that the pain, be that the bleeding, be that the absolute rage and frustration that comes with that. And I think red is such a strong colour, and it symbolises the struggles that we face while living with these conditions, but also the celebratory side of living with these conditions. Red to me is a strong colour for community. It's a strong colour for passion and emotion. Red is also a good colour for awareness. I think it symbolises how, we need that fire, we need that passion, we need that divinity, we need that absolute strength coming through. It's also the colour of rage. And you know me, I love a good rage. But certainly when I think of red, I do think of strength. And I think that to me is one of the key things of our community and one of the key things about empowerment and advocacy and awareness, isn't it? It is that strength. So you can use the rage for good. It brings about our passion and determination that we have, not just for endometriosis and adenomyosis as topics, but also for the passion for accurate information. And we know in this day and age of social media and, of people sharing their individual experiences, it is so important, but what's really, really important is that it has to be tempered with accurate information. There's no room for your version of the facts. There is room for accurate information. Tell your story, surely, but make sure that you're not given an alternative version of the facts. And I'm starting to see the community really develop in that, and I'm very proud of that. And I think that's been very important over the last number of years. Again, red for me would symbolise community, solidarity, strength, all the things that are very positive about this condition. It may be that we live with horrendous symptoms. We may find that it has a debilitating effect on our lives. But it also means that we got to meet some fantastic people along the way. And there are times when we're in the depth of despair and that red can become so deep it turns to black and nothing looks like we're going to get out of that. But again, look to the sunrise in the morning. Those red colours again, they're going to give us strength. They're going to help us get up after a night with no sleep. They're going to help us rise after we have had a night of horrendous pain and suffering and everything that goes along with that, the despair. But red, I think, brings us hope. Again, in terms of breaking the silence, red can be that opening conversation, can't it? DEARG, even for people asking me, how do you pronounce that? People who don't speak Irish, people who are outside the country. And it's been funny hearing some of the versions of that. And even my version of Irish is different from, different parts of the country of different dialects, as we know. Mine's a mix between the sort of County Louth Irish, the Galway Irish and the Donegal Irish. So my pronunciation probably isn't even perfect either. But yeah, DEARG does help us break that silence. It can be that opening conversation. It can be that thing that we can say, oh, did you hear this episode on this podcast, where we listen to a particular person not just tell their story, but also bring in their professional role as well. And I think that's one of the things about the podcast I'd like to get across, is that we're combining not just people's personal experience with the disease, but in many cases their professional interest in it as well. And I like to have that balance. And as always, we try and keep it evidence-based in the background. And I think, when you think of red as a visible colour, and traditionally yellow is the colour used for endometriosis awareness. For me, I like to be awkward and I like to be different. So for me, DEARG not only was a word in which I could fit in, the acronym for adenomyosis and endometriosis and resources and guidance and all that, all in the one word. It sort of meant as well, too, that it stood out a little bit differently as a brand. And I think while I was waiting to launch this podcast, I was waiting to get my branding done. I was waiting to get my website finished. I was waiting to get so many things done before I launched this. And I thought, I need to get in. I need to do this because there's a huge gap in accurate information in Ireland. There's a gap in support. There's a gap in services for women, and we know there's a huge amount of deficiencies. So I suppose my vision for DEARG is that we will invite on, not just those who live with the condition, but primarily those who provide services and help and support for those who live with endometriosis and adenomyosis, particularly in Ireland. So while we do have many listeners worldwide and they will learn from these episodes, we want to showcase as much as possible what's available within the country and what's available, to the people who are, I suppose, availing of the services in Ireland. And again, to, how best to progress and how we can, use those services going forward. So if you have been listening to the DEARG podcast, thank you so much for your support. It is very, very much appreciated. And I look forward to 2024, where we can grow this. We can meet everybody at the end of March on the 24th of March, 2024 in St. Anne's Park in Raheny in Dublin. And then hopefully then move on to some bigger and better events as well too, where we can bring not just awareness and education, but also bring that sense of community back and maybe get to meet each other and have some very good positive experiences. So thank you all for your support, and wish you all a very happy Christmas and New Year. Take care.